When it comes to your health and fitness, doing nothing now will always end up costing you more in the long term. And I find that those that really struggle make decisions based on the near term and what's comfortable, what's convenient in the present at the cost and expense of in the future. And they often don't think in long term circumstances and consequences. And what I mean by this is I've done this for a long time. I've had thousands upon thousands of conversations, and I see this way of thinking time and time again. And it's very easy to do because it happens very very often. But a woman, speaking to, knows she needs to lose weight, knows she needs to make a change, but she's unwilling to do something uncomfortable in the near term that's going to cost her probably, if I'd have to bet, much more in the long term. By what I mean is like investing in coaching and actually investing in getting the help that you need. What a lot of women will look at this, maybe they're overweight, they're not happy, they know they need to make a change, it's impacting in a negative way every aspect of their life, but they're like, oh, invest in myself. That's like super uncomfortable because, my kid has, soccer camp coming up. We got this, we have a vacation on the horizon. I have my mortgage, I have to do this to my vehicle. And a lot of people will think like that. And they're like, well, just right now I can't, invest in myself and get the help that I need when it comes to my health and fitness. And the problem with that, often long term, whatever you'd have to pay, whether it's with us or another program or whatever you have to do, I promise you and can 100% guarantee that just invest in yourself right now and fixing this for good by choosing the right program will always be much cheaper than the long term consequences of not being in good health. You see it time and time and time again with people that they'll make decisions based on the now and not really have a long-term view and perspective on this. And I'm going to get dark here for a second, but I think oftentimes it's these dark and dreary scenarios that actually bring us light into the present. What I mean is, say you're severely, overweight, you have the opportunity to get the help that you need, invest financially in yourself, and you decide not to do it because of all these different reasons and things you have going on, whatever the case may be, and then nothing changes. You still operate from that mindset, and then 5, 10, 15 years go by and your weight has gotten worse. You're now taking medication like high blood pressure, cholesterol, maybe you've had like some health issues, and you deal with those things. The consequences of poor health over a long-term horizon always ends up costing you way, way more. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. I've seen this personally with my own family and grandparents and such. Nothing wipes out your wealth and your savings quicker than poor health. Again, 20, 30 years, you're in your 50s and 60s, and God forbid something happens where you have to move into a senior living facility or someplace like that, or need home health care. I've seen people in my family and just everyday life completely wipe out their retirement and all the wealth that they've worked really hard to build over 30, 40 years because of their poor health and having to make decisions way earlier than they thought they would. I saw it, firsthand with my grandpa, where all the retirement savings, everything that him and my grandma had saved, he had diabetes. It ended up, taking his leg, and then boom, like senior living facilities, home health care, everybody had to come and help him. And it was really, really expensive. And just in a matter of 4 or 5 years, boom, all their life savings were out the window because of the poor health of my grandpa. Now, could all those situations be avoided? Maybe, maybe not, but you can better control the odds by taking care of your health and fitness now versus rolling the dice and having worse odds in the future, right? And there obviously is just the pure, financial costs. Like, you don't spend $1 today, but you're going to spend way more dollars tomorrow because of poor health. Like, that is reality. And that's what the decisions that people face every day. It's like, do I do something uncomfortable, invest an amount that doesn't necessarily fit in the budget or make perfect sense based on all my expenses? But some women will do that. and realize like, yeah, if I don't do something now, it's going to end up cost me way more in the long term. And there's that way of thinking, or there's a lot of people that just think about the present and this expenses and mortgage and all this, and they're like, there's no way, shape, or form I can do this. Well, it's going to probably cost you much longer over the next couple decades if you don't do something versus if you just made a one-time investment and fixed it for good. I truly, truly believe that there's like actual financial cost that it costs you because of poor health, for medications, to getting sick, terrible situations and things, right? And there's also just costs that you can't put a direct dollar amount in. Like if someone has to get on medication and they have to spend an extra $300-400 a month for the rest of their life, obviously you can put that's $4,000, 4 or 5 grand a year, multiply that by 20, that's over $100,000 that you could be spending because of poor health, because you got on a couple medications, because you're overweight, obese, for health issues, right? There's that cost that you can do by just basic elementary math. But then there's also the cost that you can't really put a direct dollar amount on. Speak to women all the time who have not really truly enjoyed a vacation because they're uncomfortable in how they look. Spoke to a woman, a while back. I remember like one of the reasons she made a decision is because every year they take a tropical vacation somewhere, whether it's a cruise, the Caribbean, Cabo, Cancun. And she's like, I'm miserable on this trip. I don't want my picture taken. I stay out of the family photos. I don't go into the water. I don't, get into the pool because I'm super embarrassed in how I look. And you can't really put a direct dollar amount out in that. You could say like, well, whatever you paid for the vacation, you're kind of wasting it because you're not truly enjoying it. But it's like, what is that worth for you? So, and only you can decide that. I'm not telling you need to put X amount of dollars on it. For some people it's like, well, it is what it is, I really don't care. And then for someone we speak to, like, they really really do care. So I just share this because I want to bring awareness to it, because I do feel like it's really important. I believe in my heart of hearts that if you don't do something now, it's going to end up costing you much much more in the long run, both in actual dollar amount cost because of poor health, and then just missed opportunity, cost because you're not truly happy or enjoying yourself, right? Beach example, not be able to be super present with your kids or have the energy to play with them. What is that worth to you? And regardless if it's with us or another program, no matter what you pay, now I promise you with 100% conviction, if you invest in what you need, you take that leap of faith and invest in the right program, the right coach that can truly fix this for good, like we do in our program, it's going to end up saving you so much money in the long term because you fix your health now versus your health suffering over the long term. And I just share this because I think that's the way that successful people think, right? It's, you make decisions based on your future, not on your present. What is best for you over the next 5, 10, 20 years is probably fixing this now and not putting it off 15, 20 years before it's too late. Right? So that being said, hopefully that hits home for a couple of you, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.